guys, Ash here, Ray Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. Hey, we were right. What do you know? It's a Loki chase. Loki's going to be a free legendary champion available to everybody starting on August 22nd. Running almost till the end of November is when you can log in for 7 days and get your hands on a free Barbarian Spirit Affinity legendary champion in Loki. There's a lot more though. There's a new dungeon coming. There's 3 other legendaries coming. One of them who I suspect will be a fragment summon or a fusion. Let's talk about all of it in one moment. So real quick before Loki and his kit, guys, I have a new download link for you guys. It's for a new account, a second account, whatever, a friend, family member. Just make sure you use my link because it's a good one. You get 2 of my favorite epic revivers for free, Tagore, and you get Rector Draft after level 15. Tagore and then Rector Draft for free on new accounts. That's pretty insane. Let's take a look at Loki. Okay, like I said, 7 days to get Loki, some perception gear as well, which will be great for this champion. We'll see why in just a moment. We also have a perfect soul available on day 14 as part of that Loki chase, and this is phase 1, so unsure what phase 2 looks like, but there you go. All right, this is part of a massive Asgard Divide and Raid Shadow Legends kind of collab happening with 4 of these Viking kind of Norse gods being added to the game without the IP. So here we go. Let's take a look at this champion, right? I'm sure you guys probably just want to see what he does first and if he's any good. I will say this guy is very interesting, very unique. I suspect a lot of people are not going to love his kit at first glance, but let me try to talk you into the upside here, guys. On the A1, by the way, I'm recording this at first. I just looked at this myself too, so TBD on all these champions, right? My first take on him. He is, again, everybody's going to be a barbarian spirit support champion. He looks pretty cool. He looks like a Loki, I would say, right? Flames of Mischief is an A1 ability. It's an AoE attack. When booked, he has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Really solid for an A1. If he's under a Veil of Perfect Veil, this champion gets better at all of his skills, right? A big part of this guy's kit, biggest part, is all around Veil and Perfect Veil synergy. You see it on every ability, and you also see it highlighted strongly on his passive. On his A2, Deceiver's Gambit is a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Select a target. If the target's an enemy, we place a block active skills and a block buffs. If he's under a Veil or Perfect Veil, he's then going to apply a debuff spread, kind of like a Tawana Rock type move, right? Only no decrease attack. Instead, we have a block active skills there, which could prove some utility inside the arena as well. On the second part, if the ally is, or if the target's an ally, excuse me, it heals them by 50% of this champion's max HP. It puts a perfect veil on them for 2 turns. And if he's under a veil or a perfect veil, he applies a buff spread, taking 2 buffs and putting that on everybody, okay? Now, the cool thing here is I want to kind of go right to his passive. He's starting each round with a perfect veil for 2 turns. Also plays a perfect veil on this champion for 1 turn whenever his HP drops below 50%. So at the beginning of a round, at the beginning of, well, anywhere at the beginning, right, outside of Hydra, you're going to be starting with a perfect veil. So you're going to be getting on his first 2 abilities, ideally, you're going to be getting the full effect, right? So the whole buff spread. That puts him as the only champion in the game on this A2, although there is some conditionality to it, but the only champion that has a 3-turn perfect veil, okay? Pretty cool. On the A3, Bandit Flash is a 4-turn cooldown, has a 100% chance of stealing all buffs from the target enemy in 100% of their turn meter. These effects cannot be resisted if he's under a Veil or Perfect Veil. Imagine opening up the arena and stealing all buffs from somebody, provided they're not protected, cannot be resisted, and decreases their entire turn meter. Pretty solid. Actually, not just decreases, it steals the whole thing. So perfect scenario, he opens up with the Perfect Veil, you steal all their buffs, you steal their turn meter, then he takes another turn, he's still on the Perfect Veil, and then he, you know, applies a perfect veil on an ally and applies a buff spread to everybody. So everybody has a perfect veil and whatever, right? So just trying to walk you through the potential here on this dude. Okay, so we're stealing a turn meter, blah, 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 can't be affected. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, then fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% instead. Also places an increased attack on all allies for 2 turns. So again, as an opening move here, you can set up your nukers. Very interesting. We don't know his base stats yet. At least I haven't seen them data mined. So So his base speed is going to be an important factor here for me, at least, in terms of endgame viability potential. Missed step on his passive. The passive effect, we already read it, plays a perfect veil at the start of each round for 2 turns. Plays a perfect veil for 1 turn whenever his HP drops below 50%. Has a 15% chance to evade an enemy's skill in all of its accompanying effects. If he's under a veil or perfect veil, that increases to a 30% chance. So not only will you not be hit, 30% chance of not being hit, but also in addition to that, he's going to, you know, he'll resist, or there won't even be a resistance check. He just won't get those debuffs at all. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Kind of an anti-Armons, maybe a little bit there. The active effect of the passive, this is on the 4-turn cooldown, okay? If this champion's HP is below 50%, when targeted by an enemy skill, he has a 100% chance to evade that skill in all of its effects. This guaranteed evade then goes on cooldown. So basically, if he's below 50% when he's targeted, he's gonna evade that hit. Man, that's a lot going on this dude. Sorry for being so long on the kit here. But again, I suspect a lot of people are just gonna read this and just say, this guy seems like pretty trashy. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he's very unique. At first glance, you're like Hydra because of that A1 and, you know, bring the block buffs with the buff spread. And there's absolutely no doubt about it. He could bring some viability in Hydra for a lot of accounts out there. Will he be endgame Hydra? I don't know. It depends a lot on his multipliers and his stats and everything like that. But my hunch is maybe not like S tier Hydra. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I do think he could be very helpful in other areas of the game. He's a very interesting champion. I kind of like the kid. And again, I think that might be an unpopular opinion. I can't wait to read the comments on this one. Let's take a look at the rest of the update. By the way, guys, we're taking a look at Loki the Deceiver. We're going to have a full 360 panoramic view. Turn around, Loki. What do you got here? What do you think they've done? How do you think they did with the design, I should say? Let me know. Pretty cool looking champion, in my opinion. Speaking of pretty cool looking champions, take a look at Thor. This is Thor. Not exactly how I picture, but maybe I'm kind of jaded by the aesthetics of the popular IPs out there. But Thor looks pretty cool. I love how they have the background aesthetic to match as well. All right, guys, this is Odin. This is Odin Faye Feather. We do not have the kits of all these champions. Who do you think the fusion is going to be here, guys? I think it's going to be Thor, just based on the little inbox messages that we got. But this is Odin, and this is Freyja Fate Weaver. This is Freyja. She looks pretty cool too. Look at that shield. Pretty badass. I like the aesthetics of all of these Viking or Norse gods. All right, guys, so this is that new dungeon that we're kind of speculating about. What do you guys think about the... Oh, is this Odin? It looks like Odin, right? He's going to be the boss as well. What do you guys think about that dungeon thing? I had you guys vote in the community tab poll, and it's kind of... I'm kind of 2 minds, right? Number one is I got my mind excited about what could be the new dungeon. You know, oh, is it finally a way to farm up skill tomes? I was freaking psyched at that. So I'm not going to lie, I'm a little let down that it's like this event dungeon that's going to come and go. But I also think it could keep things fresh if they do this for every kind of update, if they made a special dungeon. So kind of TBD, but let me tell you how it's going to work. Odin, by the way, is a void legendary, guys. This is the event dungeon mechanics. The event dungeon, a brand new game mechanic aiming at diversifying the player's gaming experience during the event. The event dungeon will only be available during the Asgard Divide campaign with Odin Fayfeather as the dungeon boss. It features 30 stages, normal difficulty, with difficulty rising with each stage. There will be no waves, only a boss battle, but beware as Odin Fayfeather won't be alone, but joined by might warriors unique to each stage of the dungeon. Sounds pretty cool. Be available from players from level 6 and higher. So basically everybody, right? Hopefully. So what is the reward going to be for this dungeon? Well, I can tell you that tomorrow, unfortunately. But you guys can see kind of the rarities and the type on all of these new champions to the game. We have Thor is going to be an attack based. We have Freyja is going to be a defense force. We have Odin, who I'm covering, is going to be a void legendary support. And we already know about Loki. So there you have it, guys. Free stuff. What do you think of the kit? Let me know, guys. Let me know. What do you think of the dungeon idea? To me, this is pretty cool. I kind of like the entire event. This is the hats off to Plarium. Let's see how Loki is in game, and let's see what these other champions have to bring to the table. Moreover, do you think that Thor is going to be the fusion as well? Or do you think maybe, because Odin's the boss, so I don't think he'd be the fusion too. And then Freyja, it could be Thor or Freyja, but Thor seems to be the bigger name to me. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Go ahead and subscribe for all the new content. Raid Shadow Legends, much love, and as always, take care, guys.